All right, good evening and welcome to Business Today. I'm Jerome Paul Soko with Winnie Buyinza Nakauchi on sign language. We're coming to you live from plot 42 Nile Avenue. And here is your daily report. We kickstart it off with President Museveni, who has okayed the rice importation from Tanzania. Uganda's rice farmers have long complained about the excessive importation of rice from Tanzania, and a number of interested parties have urged President Museveni to halt the importation of Tanzanian rice in order to safeguard the interests of local farmers. Yesterday, during the speech at the Uganda's 60th anniversary of independence, the country was marking 60 years, President Museveni declared that he would not ban rice imports because Tanzania is another country to which Uganda exports such items. We have more of this report.
Ugandans wanted me to stop Tanzanian rice. Please, I will not do that. If the Tanzanians are growing rice more cheaply, let them grow it and you buy from them. I was told of some attempts to block rice from Tanzania in order to protect the inefficient rice growers of Uganda. I could not accept such blindness. Why, first of all, punish Ugandans to consume expensive rice while Tanzanian brothers can produce cheaper rice? The other blindness is that you should remember that if you block Tanzanian rice, Tanzania will also block something else from Uganda. Where then is the future of prosperity for our region?
Recent calls for the government to reconsider a strategy encouraging more rice imports from Uganda were made by the rice producers and traders who claimed Tanzanian rice was driving them out of business due to its low price. In this appeal, the Ugandan Rice Association expressed an alarm over the ongoing erosion, the East African Common External Tariff policies, and the shift towards greater rice importation. Several stakeholders have also expressed their thoughts on the current state of the rice industry.
First of all, the rice growers in Uganda must survive. So that protection must be provided, and we shall ensure we provide that.
A lot of rice is coming in from Tanzania. The good rice, the grade 1 rice, but also the grade 3 or 4 rice is coming in without any controls. That means that the people who have invested in the rice business cannot find enough business for them to grow because they are being overtaken by the cheap broken rice from Tanzania. So we need to look for a way to balance. Because if I have an industry that I'm trying, a homegrown industry that I'm trying to take off the ground, and then external imports come in and overtake me, my industry will collapse.
However, the Member of Parliament for Kabweri County, which is one of Uganda's rice-growing districts in Kibuku district, warned the farmers about the quality of rice they produce.
Quality of our rice is rice mixed with stones. It is rice mixed in terms of variety, so it is better that there is a proper training on how we sort the rice, how we dry the rice, and machinery to ensure that all the rice that is going to be exported is sorted. Because we have one comparative advantage, that the super rice from Uganda is almost the best type of variety in the whole world, the best rice. So if we could take that niche and produce a lot of super rice of Uganda, it will sell even a higher price than any other rice.
The Uganda Revenue Authority removed import taxes on all rice from Tanzania on July 27, 2022, prior to the abolition. The former tariff on these products was $47.9 per ton of rice. In a letter from July 29 that was released by Mr. Alexander Rubanda, Assistant Commissioner for Trade at the Uganda Revenue Authority, announced this tax exemption. Monica Nabyonga, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now away from that, we look at financial record keeping as the bankers are growing increasingly alarmed by how poorly the nation's small business owners are maintaining the financial records. Consequently, according to Anjuko, the CEO and Executive Director of Stanbic Bank, their requests for business loans have been rejected. Pedersen Mumbere reports.
Accurate image of a company's performance may be obtained through record keeping, which will also enable you to identify any possible issues earlier rather than later. However, bankers maintain that it is becoming more difficult for small business owners to secure financing from a bank due to inadequate financial record keeping.
What are some of the problems that we find while trying to do business with the typical Ugandan business, SME or a smaller and micro enterprise? The single biggest problem we find is a lack of record keeping. The business is doing well, but the owner of the business cannot tell you their monthly sales. They can't tell you their monthly expenses. They don't have a record where they're keeping this. So when they come to the bank, it's very difficult to do an assessment because you're starting from, you don't have anything to start from.
Secondly, you have to have that financial discipline. With the financial discipline is so important, which makes sure that whenever you access a loan, you are supposed to fully utilize it to make sure you are in position to meet your obligation.
According to business analysts, it is currently pretty difficult for a typical Ugandan business to get to its third birthday without dissolving due to poor business practices. The executive director of Stanbic Bank, Annie Juko, disagreed and urged that it is time to update our corporate governance procedures.
We have heard this statistic repeated often, that a typical Ugandan business does not go beyond its third birthday. The ideas are good, the customers are there, but because there is poor corporate governance practices, they die a stillbirth. So what we're trying to do as part of this Customer Celebration Week is to educate our customers on sound business practices.
Almost every Ugandan has an entrepreneurial mindset and business practices, even if many Ugandans may not consider themselves to be entrepreneurs. With the fast-growing labor force, Ugandan entrepreneurs operate a variety of businesses, from small mobile ice cream carts to corporations with numerous locations. According to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor 2014 Global Report, Uganda is the nation with the highest rate of entrepreneurship in the world. The majority of enterprises in Uganda are not registered and lack.
Because some people are not ready to formalize. There is no way the bank can finance you if the business is illegal, if the business is not formalized, because how do they trust you? So as we leaders, we are trying to do our level best to make sure we keep businesses afloat.
More than at any other education level, secondary school dropouts show signs of a strong entrepreneurial spirit. Secondary school dropouts operate a significant portion of the informal companies across all industries evaluated. The evidence reveals that two main causes, namely the desire to seize an existing business opportunity and the inability to acquire employment in the official sector, are what motivate them. According to data from the Uganda Revenue Authority, 51% of the Ugandans make up the country's informal economy and can no longer be viewed as merely complementary. Furthermore, their efforts should not be seen as unimportant to Uganda's development goals. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, and now the Electricity Regulatory Agency was obliged to increase power prices for both residential and business use. The quarterly adjustments to electricity rates are made in response to charges in inflation, exchange rate fluctuations, fuel prices, and then the other elements of the energy mix and any other added expenses. Ronan Ahabwe brings you the report.
According to Electricity Regulatory Authority, there were changes in the generating mix during the previous quarter, with more electricity coming from expensive sources, which resulted in an overall cost rise for generators by 98%. There was also an increase in maintenance and operation costs for UETCL and UMEME at 28% and 25%, respectively, despite the then unfavorable changes in macroeconomic fundamentals, which led to an increase in the annual rate electricity supply revenue requirements by 146.5 billion shillings. Electricity tariffs were maintained during the third quarter, that is from July to September, as a result of the stakeholder engagements with the Ministry of Energy and Uganda Manufacturers Association. As the United States dollar continues to strengthen against the Ugandan shilling from $3,564 used in determining the 22 annual base tariffs to $3,810 as of August 31st, 2022. Inflation increased to above 10% as the shilling depreciated by 6.92%. Macroeconomic information was used by ERA to estimate the 2022 base tariffs for the fourth quarter. According to this data, local fuel costs have climbed by around 50%, while the price of foreign oil has increased by 46.47%. According to the data at the Electricity Regulatory Authority, home electricity customers spent 747.5 shillings kilowatt per hour during the third quarter, while business users paid 580 shillings, medium and big enterprises paid 439 shillings and 3,055 shillings respectively, while extra-large industries paid 300.2 per kilowatt hour. A weighted average of 460 per kilowatt hour was obtained by adding the 370 paid by the street lighting to the total. Large enterprises utilize 24% of total electricity, whereas the extra-large industries use 28%. Domestic users, or 1.7 million users, utilize 21% of all power produced, while medium industries at 16% and commercial at 11%. Runana Habwe, Business Today, Smart 24 TV.
All right, now entrepreneurs are utilizing technology, innovations and socio-economic business projects to have a big impact on both large and small-scale firms, which is advancing the business world in Uganda. The Kampala Impact Day has been organized by the Ugandan government in collaboration with the Belgian government through the Einstein Rising, the Innovation Village, GIZ and OVO. It aims to create a future that is worth living with social integrations and economics. We have more in this report.
Promote aggressively domestic and international investments in social enterprises that have proven adept at creating long-lasting and significant social impacts. Uganda is working with other African nations, NGOs, and job creation agencies to support open doors for collaboration and create employment opportunities. Brian Mangeni, CEO of Einstein Rising, expanded on this in an exclusive interview.
So, promoting discussion about social enterprise, bringing them in the same room with capital that is coming from outside Uganda that has probably not been affected by the inflation rates that we are suffering with. Getting them to join up with enterprises outside Uganda, getting them opportunities to export outside Uganda. There is so much that will be discussed on that day that can go a long way in helping them. Also, just like you've heard from other speakers who understand social enterprise quite well, gainful employment is one of the major SDGs that are going to be addressed through social enterprise promotion.
In order for a business to develop and grow, innovation is essential, and entrepreneurs should take this into account, according to Sharon Kakai, the Village Uganda's communications and marketing lead.
On whether we want to scale, that's a different issue, but scaling should be it, because then when you scale, you're able to create job opportunities, you're able to fight gender disparities, and you're able to level, our societal challenges altogether.
Uganda will achieve greater economic development effect results through ongoing support of entrepreneurs and young innovators.
The potential of youth is indeed a key for the future of Uganda. And Kampala Impact Day contributes to this goal. So let me congratulate OVO and Einstein Rising with this initiative. And I strongly encourage entrepreneurs to participate in the event, and as well as other development stakeholders to provide the much needed support.
The goal of the Kampala Impact Day is to examine possibilities and work together to have a lasting social impact. This will make it possible to create an economically and socially integrated future. Martha Nimsima, Smart 24, Business Today.
All right, now we talk matters cargo transportation. Uganda's cargo transportation industry has developed steadily to reach its current level. Uganda Revenue Authority has offered importers and exporters with guidance on their responsibilities related to the transportation of commodities, mostly those that can be produced locally in Uganda. Bronia Katusime has the details.
A clearing and forwarding agency offers a supportive trading environment to small and medium-sized importers and exporters in order to operate a streamlined, efficient and successful cargo consolidation process. Additionally, the Uganda Revenue Authority guarantees cargo's customs clearance.
In Uganda, when we are importing goods, we consider the freight up to Mombasa. So, for those that are importing goods via the sea, we shall look at the cost they purchased an item, the insurance cover purchased an item, the insurance cover that was given to the item, and the freight that was given to the item. All those added together plus other adjustments constitute what we call the customs value of goods. If goods are being transported by air, we look at the cost and insurance. There are scenarios when traders do not provide the insurance aspect. So we get the cost and compute the insurance by subjecting it to 1%, so that we can arrive at the insurance.
After the documentation process is finished, the transport chain enters. Working on behalf of the client is the clearing agency. Different participants in the chain, such as transporters and consolidators, describe the cargo to the taxman for the collective valuation. Additionally, URA levies various taxes in accordancy.
Is that from the consolidators who load the containers in the exporting country, they declare the goods using also an agent. And after declaring the goods go to sea by vessel through shipping lines. Then from the shipping line, they will still get to be received by a port, what we call the port of destination. Then from the port of destination, then we will now hire a transporter. Of course, there are documentation by pt1, KRA, Kenya Revenue Authority, to make sure these goods are not left in Kenya or Tanzania. Then we will now hand over to the transporter, and then the transporter will hand over to Uganda Revenue Authority. Uganda Revenue Authority will do the customs work, and from the customs work, then if the client has paid, if the importer has paid all the taxes as valued, then he will take the goods for consumption and start saving.
When we are computing taxes on importation, there are basically like 3 taxes that are charged. We have the import duty. The import duty ranges from 0% to 60%. 0% is basically for the raw materials. 10% is for the semi-finished goods, or what we call the intermediary goods. Then 25% is for finished goods. So if you import an item that is finished, you are charged 25%. However, there are some items whose import duty is 35%. Now 35%, these include perishable items like meat, like oranges, like grapes. These carry 35%. Why? Because the same goods that are imported can actually be manufactured or produced in Uganda. So the 35% is another band that was introduced to ensure that people consume more of Ugandan products.
The ultimate aim of logistics is to guarantee that consumers receive their orders on time and defect-free. Logistics audit checklists are used by the supply chain managers to examine order processing, storage methods, and material handling in order to accomplish this purpose. In a way, it's crucial that
business perspective, the importance of a logistics company or logistics firm are, 1, the transport itself, as we move goods from A to B. Then 2, we do also procurement, especially for the business people that can't move or don't know. We help them to procure. Then we advise, where one would call it consultation. Sometimes the businessman wants to enter a certain industry or wants to sell certain products and they don't know where to start. So they come and ask you, I have my money, but I don't know how to go about this. So with our experience or with the experience of the firm, You can offer advice, advise a business person. Besides the advice, we also link the businessman and the supplier. Most of the times, because of you look at now as the effects of the lockdown, COVID-19 happened, and then the restrictions on movement of the business people. So business has to go on. And remember, we are doing cross-border businesses. We have to transact, we have to get to know the guys that we buy from. So we help them to identify the right people to offer them the services that they want, or offer them the products that they need.
We are committed to continuously seeking opportunities which will enable us to spread our wings further and undertake cargo movement throughout. Bronya Katsime, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And yes, it's Business Today, and we do take a break. We return with the Coffee Court discussions. Keep it Smart 24 TV.